So here we are with our three philosophers. First, we have Peter Singer. Here we have Jacques Derrida. And over there, we have Martin Heidegger. So let's start. Good evening, audience, and welcome to That Philosophy Show. Today we have three special philosophers to discuss our tonight's topic and to know their opinion. The Santiago Metropolitan Zoo ended up with two dead lions after one met God inside of the lion's cage. The unknown 20-year-old man jumped naked with a suicide letter. In order to avoid man's death, he was delivered to the nearest hospital due to the serious injuries. According to National Zoo's principle, tranquilizer dart could be used at the moment. However, the 3 to 5 minutes period could easily kill the man. Therefore, Lion's Guard had no choice than kill them.
If nobody disagrees, I would like to start because one concept that I studied some years ago can be related to this topic. The concept is the principle of equal consideration of interests, which is taking into account one characteristic as the right to be considered in a society. Sometimes this concept is taken as a basic moral principle. However, there is a tendency to, to consider reasoning as the main characteristic of this principle, excluding any other living being that is not human. Therefore, I argue that the capacity to suffer should be the vital feature that enables living beings the right to equal considerations as it makes you have interests.
And how does this concept link to the new?
Because here are two sides under suffering. On the one hand, lions, at the beginning, before ending in the zoo, they did not know what was about to happen to them when they were captured, so they suffer more due to their limited awareness. And on the other hand, mental anguish makes the man positions harder to bear, because this person had to experience many situations to decide to commit suicide inside a lion's cage. So, what happens when both living beings suffer? The priority is to relieve the greatest suffering. But how can you know that? But how can you know that? Who is suffering the most in such a little time? Pain and suffering are bad, and they should be avoided at any time and at any cost for any species.
I want to point when you said about suffering. If you ask someone in the street who has the guilt, who's guilty, you can have answers like the human or lions. There's always a guilty from both from lion and human as well, as I said before. So it is difficult to determine who is right or wrong. And this is because human beings can distinguish among us. We can distinguish each other, even if we belong to the same community. This is what Arendt says. Otherness is presented in organic beings that only human being can manifest it.
But what kind of community are you referring to?
Let me answer that question quoting to Benabi. Every human being belongs to a certain human group who requires protection from the group. So we need to establish what kind of community are we talking about. It is not the same talking about Chilean community as global community. That's why you have from North America to Europe different opinions, but maybe they are not accurate than us because we live here near to the event. Depending on the community it lives in, the type of education and the economy situation will form the variation of thinking across the world. Derrida, I have a question for you. How the community sense affects the concept of right and equality in our local community?
I think the concept of right and equality in the world are devaluated and modified by modern societies. These two concepts are not applied to everyone in the same way. It is only for the majority of people. But what about the minority, the segregated people? And the same happens with the democracy. Not everyone has the same treatment and benefits. Now reflect. If human beings do not take care of their own people, it is hard to expect that they ensure animal life. Or don't you remember the human zoos? Now people are ashamed of that just because they are people like us. But why the situation doesn't change with animals? Entertainment and not cruelty. It is natural.
First, referring to what Derrida said, zoos are not natural, are a creation of humans. For me, natural would be lions running in Africa, not enclosed in a little piece of ground. We have to understand this like a problem born from the necessity to satisfy our stupid needs. I can link it with the technique, the modern technique. The epistemological and instrumental definition for this is to understand it like a way to achieve a specific objective. Let's start from this point. What is the main objective of the soul? To enjoy people, to satisfy our, our those stupid needs. Through this tool, we bring something new to the world. This is the sus. It means to bring something new is almost like the humans are a creator god. In this case, I can say there was a place in the city with no condition for the existence of a source. The human modified this place to create a proper one to bring animals from the rest of the world, removing them from the natural habits. Human create an artificial place where to have them for the enjoyment of the people. And indeed, the people pay for that.
I agree about zoos as something that's natural and even as evil places. And regarding to evil, as Forti argued about Arendt's concept of banal evil, in this situation there is a blind obedience of commands by the zoo guards that due to their negligence both lions got killed. There was no thinking about the action or situation before shooting the guns, about taking two lives to save one. We can see a problem of the awareness functioning under moral foundations, even from the people's reaction from social networks, who said rushed words without considering every aspect of the case, just judging by their basic morals.
In relation to Giannini's ideas of civil space and moral experience, I understand that we all have a common notion of good and evil in which we base our actions, and that's why there are a variety of opinions about this case. There are experience, culture, beliefs, and other factors that influence our judgments. So we are not allowed to decide which life is more important and the killing itself. We just defend the theory that the animals shouldn't have been there.
Now we have heard different perspectives from Derrida to Heidegger and Singer. So now it's your choice to decide who's right or who's wrong. Is there any equality condition? What would you have done in your situation? This is going to be for your criteria. Once again, thank you for watching and see you next time.